Hi everybody, good morning. Myself Hussain Saab Kalagonda, Assistant Professor Department of Economics, MSc College, Hamsbavi. Today we are going to discuss very beautiful topic which is trade cycles or business cycles. The business cycles or trade cycles is an important concept in macroeconomics. The business cycle model is dealing with different stages of an open or capitalist economy. When we analyze the economic system, there we can see continuous fluctuations in investment, output, employment, income, consumption, price level, demand and supply, savings, distribution, exchange rate, etc. That is, we cannot meet an economical system which always keeps stability of employment condition. All things are varying, it is natural. In our day-to-day life, we get statistics or data about GDP, unemployment rate, growth rate, inflation, deflation, etc. They are varying from time to time. In short, the economy's nature is not regular but variable. Actually, the changes in facts are like waves because sometimes some factors are showing a higher value and sometimes a lower value. To analyze these fluctuations in the economy can be explained with the help of trade cycles or business cycles. The business cycles or economic cycles is the downward and upward movement of gross domestic product around its long-term growth trend. These fluctuations typically involve shifts over time between periods of relatively rapid economic growth, like expansion or booms, and periods of relative stagnation or decline. It means contractions or recessions. Despite being termed cycles, these fluctuations in economic activity can prove unpredictable. Here, this hub is aimed to explain the concept of business cycle and its different stages or status. Now, already know the features of business cycles. The business cycles occurs periodically. They are synchronic. The fluctuations occur not only in employment, not only in level of production, but also simultaneously in other variables such as employment, investment, consumption, rate of interest, and price level. And that investment and consumption of durable consumer goods such as cars, houses, and refrigerators are affected most by the cyclical fluctuations. And one more important, the character or features of business cycles. The consumption of non-durable goods and services does not vary much during different phases of business cycles. The immediate impact of depression and expansion is on the inventories of goods. Another important feature of business cycle is profit fluctuate more than any other type of income. And lastly, the business cycles are international in character. Now, just we briefly discussed about the phases of business cycles. Business cycles have shown distinct phases, the study of which is useful to understand their underlying causes. These phases have been called by different names by different economists. And what we are seeing in the picture, slide the economic cycle, we have already diagrammed. In the y-axis, we indicate the level of real output. Y-axis, its time, period. Yes. As mentioned above, the fluctuations or variations in the economic activities are illustrated with business cycle. Generally, there are 5 trends or phases can be seen in the business cycles. They are depression, recovery, employment, boom, recession. For study purpose, we started from the least point. We are starting from depression. Actually, depression is the final outcome of continuous recession. That is, recession refers to the declining of economic activities which finally ends in depression. Depression is the most dangerous condition of any economy. In such a situation, everything will bring down, including interest rates, money, supply, profits, other factors, rewards, consumption, investment, savings, etc. Generally, depression is like deflation, which means the resources, both monetary and others, are highly limited in supply. So naturally, the rewards for economic activities will be very less. And since the economic activities came into its throes, even though interest rates are very less, there may not be any tendency to increase borrowings or investment because of the unstable condition of the economy and which never yield any profits. This condition halts for further employment opportunities and increase the rate of unemployment. Similarly, the public hold a limited amount of money, so the demand will be too less and the expenditure will also reduce. In short, depression creates an emergency or an unstable condition in the economy. This is widely affecting almost all economic sectors, including primary sector, industrial sector, and service sector. Now we think about and discuss about recovery. How the recovery started, how the recovery happens in an economy. Recovery is when situation comes with hopes after crisis or depression. That is, during depression the economy is entirely inactive. Once the economy began to overtake the dangerous effects of depression, making investments, generally generating employment opportunities, etc. It will activate the economy. Since human wants are unlimited, the people may demand new products even during depression. In such conditions, investors will be more enthusiastic to utilize this opportunity. They may take loans and advances to set up industry and to start production. It will create expansion of credit, employment, demand, expenditure, etc. In the economy. In short, recovery is a necessary stage for any country to optimum utilize its resources because it is the phase of enhancing the economic activities. Next one is full employment. Third one. In its expansion phase, both output and employment increase. Still we have full employment of resources and production is at the highest possible level with the given productive resources. There is no involuntary unemployment, and whatever unemployment prevails is only of frictional and structural types. It means the frictional unemployment and as well as the structural unemployment happens in the economy. Full employment is arrived by series of economic activities in recovery phase. That is, during recovery phase, the unemployment will reduce and demand and expenditure will increase. The investment and saving is also increase. In fact, these impacts will continue until full employment is arrived. Full employment is a phase of trade cycle where almost all the economic resources are utilized. That is the attainment of full employment. Next is prosperity. The main impact of boom is the price rising. There will be continuous rise in prices of goods and services because people have demand and money. But once the overutilization or continuation beyond the boom will badly affect the economy. The inflationary price rising in a peak of the economic condition will lead to next phase recession. Thus, when expansion gathers momentum and we have prosperity, the gap between the potential GNP, a gross national product, and the actual GNP is zero. That is, the level of production is at the maximum production level. A good amount of net investment is occurring and demand for durable consumer goods is also high. Prices also generally rise during the expansion phase, but due to high level of economic activities, people enjoy a high standard of living. This prosperity situation is nothing but inflation, where prices of all goods and services are continuously increasing. And the last one is recession. The downward of economic activities from boom or prosperity is known as recession. Here the main feature of recession is the reduction in price, which will shrink the profit margin of investors. And since some industrialists may begin to close their business or productions, in this unfavorable condition, the investment and savings, demand, expenditure, etc. begin to decline. This will end in depression. Economists differ regarding the possible causes of the end of prosperity and start of downswing in the economic activity. Monetarists have argued that contraction in the bank credit may cause downswing. Keynes have argued that sudden collapse of expected rate of profit, which he calls marginal efficiency of capital, it's like MEC, caused by adverse changes in expectations of entrepreneurs, lower interest investment in the economy. This fall in investment, according to him, causes downswing in the economic activities. During contraction or recession, not only there is fall in GNP, but also level of employment is reduced. As a result, involuntary unemployment appears on a large scale. Investment also decreases, causing further fall in consumption of goods and services. At times of contraction or depression, prices also generally fall due to fall in aggregate demand. A significant feature of depression phases is the fall in rate of interest. With lower rate of interest, people's demand for money holdings increases. There is a lot of excess capacity as industries producing capital goods, consumer goods work much below their capacity due to lack of demand. Capital goods and durable consumer goods industries are especially hit hard during depression. Depression, it may be noted, occurs when there is a severe contraction or recession of economic activities. The depression of 1929 to 33 is still remembered because of its great intensity, which caused a lot of human suffering. Finally, if we coming to the point of conclusion of this topic here, the business cycles is a simple model in macroeconomics which explains different phases of an economy. As mentioned above, depression, recovery, boom, recession are the four phases. In reality, these phenomena may happen unexpectedly in a different country or economy. For example, a country may jump from recession phase to recovery phase by skipping the depression phase. Everything is based on the nature and the efficiency of economy. In fact, the concept of business cycles is a common and widely used tool of economists, policymakers, etc. Thank you. One and all, thank you once again.